Welcome to the Sebcast, the home of the #1 network for your life. This is where we think more slowly, look more deeply, and discover how Jesus didn't just work then, but is working now. We live in a world that measures results, growth, success, breakthroughs. We want to see that something works, that prayer changes something, that faith makes a visible difference. And if we're honest, we expect that from God too. But what happens when there are no results? Habakkuk 3 gives us one of the most unsettling yet most beautiful passages in the Bible. He says, though the fig tree does not bud, though there are no grapes on the vines, though the fields are empty and the stalls without cattle. In other words, nothing works. No sign of provision, no confirmation, no breakthroughs. And then he said something that changes everything. Yet I will rejoice in the Lord. Yet, it's a small word, but a big shift. Because now his faith is no longer tied to what happens, but to whom God is. We like to trust God when things are going well, when prayers are answered and when there is movement. But Habakkuk shows us a different kind of faith, one that is not dependent on results. And it's difficult, because it means you have to worship without evidence. You have to trust without visible change. You have to believe even when your eyes see nothing. But here's the deep truth. Faith that only exists when things work out isn't really faith, it's a reaction. Real faith is built when there is nothing to react to except God Himself. This is why this kind of faith cannot grow in isolation. The #1 network for your life exists precisely for these moments. When you don't see results, you need people who can say with you, we still believe. Not because things work, but because God is good. Practically, identify one area in your life where you are waiting for results and deliberately choose to trust God there, even without an outcome. Say it out loud, yet, not as a denial of reality, but as a declaration of trust. Because faith reaches its deepest form, not when everything is right, but when you still say, yet. Until tomorrow, take care.